Peanut. Peanut looks for food all day long. He eats his beef meal. It's lean, the leanest ground beef. It seems like chicken is not agreeing with him anymore. Peas, carrots, brown rice, seasonings in there. What else do we put? Um, some coconut oil. He's on his 40 flora once a day because he had 2 bad bouts with diarrhea. I think it was from the antibiotic after we started it. And now he needs to go for another dental surgery. He just had one 3 months ago to remove that back growth. It's always on the same side. And I have one scheduled for January 8th. That's why you see the GoFundMe. Peanut needs new blood work tested. And he's doing good, but he eats like a champ. He's playful. He drinks. He's not a big fan of car rides anymore because every time he goes on in the car, he knows that it's bedtime. So I try to take him to other places, right? You're a good boy. There's the bed that you sleep on with Mama. I usually hog up the whole bed. Alright? I can't give you any more treats. You had treats all day long. And you have to be having your lunch soon. And he's still at the same weight, 13.4, 13.6 he goes to. I still give him the milk thistle every day. I give him his multivitamin, a half of one every day. And the Fortiflora, the powder, because it's probiotic. So he gets that, like a half a pouch a day. And filtered water, his homemade food, and plus his treats. He has the premium jerky chews. I wipe him down every day with bath wipes because it's a little hard for me to give him an actual bath in a bathtub because of my lower back and, when I broke my shoulder. So I give him either dry bath or I wipe him down every day. And that's pretty much it. But this mouth growth that it's not really new. It was there in September, but it was too small to remove. It was like hardly anything there, and it was growing slow compared to the other ones would grow rapidly. And I know, like I said, he did get a diagnosis last September. Now he had that first growth in his mouth about a year and a half, total from like now to then. So the type of cancer that they said that the lab found, he would have been not here within 6 weeks. So I'm like, it can't be. I'm like, he was, he was in 6 weeks. I'm like, he lived with it almost 5 months, and then when it was removed, about a year later, another one popped up, but it's always on the same side, because Peanut has a tendency of chewing on one side, and the vet that I go to, he's really good. He's really fast with, the surgery. That's why this time I opted not to have the intubation because I said it's quick to remove, so they're just gonna like heavily sedate him, and it's just like it's not, from the time he was 11. That's when just like stupid things with like him hurting his foot, which was his fault, jumping like a maniac off the bed, and then it started with me. We're using a dental wipe, and cleaning his teeth, and right, and then that's how the first one started. The second one, the little sneak kid, because I did away with all his bones, like um his any hard cookies or anything like that to irritate his teeth. And he found, a little sneak found one of his bones, and he was chewing on it. And I said I was going after him to get it, and he was almost done with it, and that irritated the gum, and that's why that one formed, and then this one formed. So this one, but like I said, this one is slow growing. Um, it's not as bad. Like the first one was really bad, but he lived with it for over 4.5 months until I got um someone to the vet to finally remove it. But otherwise, I said he's doing good. I still give him the chicken broth that I make him. I usually mix it once a day or twice a day in his food. So it makes his coat nice and shiny, right? Yeah. You got a nice shiny coat. Yes, you do. Are you gonna say hi? No. Come on, you wanna say hi? He's resting now. Hello. Yeah, I was just chatting about Peanut's, what diet I have on him. I give him only homemade food since he was technically a puppy. And he eats his jerky chews, right? Hi, Eden. And last September, he had a mouth growth that turned into, just kept growing and growing. And it was, they said it was cancer, but it was Peanut, is his name. It's a boy. He's a boy. And then last September, he had another one. Where you going? I think you were sleeping nice. Last September, this September that just passed, he had another one in his mouth that I had removed, and now he has to have another one January 8th. That's why I set up the GoFundMe page, just to help with some, because I don't get paid for this channel. I do this for just basically memories for him, and he makes so many people laugh with his singing and his huffing and puffing, and so I said and I thank a lot of people that have supported, this new surgery. I have a really good vet. I mean, he works with me, but Peanut needs new blood work now because it's going to be 4 months. Yeah, he's a big Yorkie. He's not a tiny Yorkie, right? You're not tiny, you're big. He's over 13 pounds. And he's on homemade food. Right now, I'm giving him just the leanest ground beef because it seems like chicken, as he was getting older, chicken really wasn't agreeing with him as well. So, I put some spices in there for him that's dog friendly. I make him homemade chicken broth, which I'm making him today. And that's good for his coat and his skin, even his, the gums. He has one loose bottom tooth, but that was from an accident when he hurt his leg. Yes, I'm good. How are you? Eating. And I started the bone broth because he was limping on his back leg, but it was more like the bottom of the foot. And once I tried the bone broth with him, he put his foot down. He started to walk, so I always keep with it. And it's good for the gums and he heals very quick, thankfully. After the surgeries, with the mouth, usually like 2 or 3 stitches. And so I said it's these 2 years has been trying with him because thankfully I found a good vet that but this year I've been there quite a lot, for either bad diarrhea. Thank you. Bad diarrhea or the surgeries that he needed for the mouth. Um, he has like a wart on the back of his neck that last year it started by him scratching. It started to bleed a little bit. But a lot of times the vet doesn't even charge me for the walk-in appointments. But if he needs like, and I'm not a big fan of medication with pets because the medication there's so many side effects to them, and I said it's you know they're not as great. I mean, if you need them, you need them. But so I said his surgery scheduled for January 8th. It shouldn't take that long, but I said I wanted to have blood work be done. Last September that just passed, his blood work came back good except for one of it's not really a liver specific test. It's the ALP. That came back high, but I think it was stress related because he's never been crated before. And to be putting him at almost 14 years old in a crate for an hour and a half and he balked nonstop for an hour and a half, that could have brought him up, brought that level up. So now I said I'm just going to bring him his blood work. They'll remove that new growth. It's not actually new. But I said he's still perky. He still has a lot of life in him. Thank you. Yeah, I hope, I said I hate when animals, once they turn 11, that's when all the problems start. I had the same problems with my cat. Once that age comes, 11, that's when it's like, you know, and I had a lot, when I broke my arm in April, thankfully I had to break no bets from April to August with him because I couldn't even drive a car. So, I said he's doing good. He's gonna go sleep and then he's gonna have his lunch soon. And I feed him 3 meals a day, small meals, instead of 2 big meals. And of course, he looks for his treats all day long. And that's pretty much it. But thank you if you did donate, thank you. I'll keep you updated, until then. Uh, but I did put a picture on it. That was the last one. I do check it every day. That growth. But the first one was very traumatizing to me because it got so big, and I could not find a vet to remove it. I said until I found, you know, I had to go to the emergency vet, but he's the regular vet also, and he removed it. And I said I'm 51 now, and I said I have the animals ever since I was 3, and I grew up with Scottish Terriers, and we never looked in their mouth because if we ever did, our fingers wouldn't be in on our hands with the skies. He's pretty much like that too. Not that he's really nippy, but just like you have to be. Even though he's small, he could get snippy. With this. it's like his nails. He doesn't like me grooming his nails. Right, Peanut? No, you don't like your nails done by Mama. And I said that's it. But he's cute. He got his toenails cut a couple weeks ago by the vet. Yeah. And Saturday's cleaning day, so I put all his bedding in a dryer to get just any dust off or anything. And his girl Tabby, the cat, is sleeping. Right, where's Tabby? And Peter's always been a good boy. All right? His hearing is good, his vision is good, his sense of smell is good. All right? You could smell a nudgy a mile away. You know Mommy has it in her pocket. You're eating it. And he's like a bloodhound on the floor. Because we always thought we'll have a bird. So, he's actually, with birds, he becomes like the true terrier. He'll go after the bird, but they're not together. He loves his cat. He always grew up with cats. And when we got Tabby, because he was alone for about 2 years, and then we got Tabby, and that's his girl. His nose is always up her hiney. He's like a magnet to her behind. I told everyone. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna be going, but I said thank you again if you donated or if you can donate for the surgery. And remember, Peanut loves you, right? Peanut's a good boy. Peanut, you're going to sleep, you're tired, taking the afternoon nap. Say goodbye. Come on. I gave him a little trim on his face, and his ears. Are you gonna say goodbye? Yeah, you're tired. Your belly's full. And you'll be looking for your treats in about 5 minutes again. Okay, have a great weekend. And, enjoy. I have a lot of new videos coming up. And some new shorts of him. And I'll keep you informed in January, about his surgery. And hopefully on March 17th, he'll be 14, right? And I remember were you not even a year old? You were a little baby. And you're still a little baby. Hi, Carrie. Yeah, it's things that animals even have to get old. I say, it's too bad that they can't stay young forever. But I said, I panic with him because he's getting old. And I said, and then I hear people, oh, 14's not old. Well, 14's old for me. I said because I didn't have luck with our Scottish Terriers. One died at 7, one died at 9, one died at 10. The longest one, hi Maisie. The longest one that we had he lived to like 2 months before his 14th birthday. And that was old, the Scottish Terrier. And, it's the vaccines, the heartworm medicine, uh, all the medications. That shortens the lifespan on the animals. And, I always did the natural approach with Peanut. no vaccines, no heartworm medicine since it almost killed him when he was a baby. And thankfully, thank you. He is very cute. But thankfully, I said everything comes back always negative. He doesn't go outside because he was never a grass fan. So, and he has allergies too to the grass pollen. And then I said, with the bugs, that's not for him. He was a very pampered pooch. I pick him up, put him on a nice clean blanket on the car in the car seat. He always rides in the front, and my grown son, has to ride in the back. Peanut always comes first. I know. And then I have both pictures up in my room of Peanut when he was. With that picture, he was small. Then I have this picture. Then I got a big portrait. So I said, and then I got the cute little sleeping one. I got to be going because I got to make him his meal for the next couple of days. And I appreciate you coming on and supporting Peanut. Peanut's poop. Have a great weekend. Bye.